my peeps. This is an overdue update. I wanted to bring y'all on board with what happened with my issues with not getting my Ozempic prescription covered under Medicare. And this was the first month that I've had Medicare, last month was, that I was not able to get it for a reasonable copay. Just to bring you all up to date, I ordered it for last month. I got a bill for $707. I contacted my doctor. I contacted customer service. I talked to the pharmacy. I talked to Medicare. And I got different information from everybody I talked to. But the way it shook out had something to do with Medicare not covering or not covering as thoroughly as it did in the past, Ozempic. Now, that Medicare would not carry Ozempic for weight loss, I guess that kind of makes sense in a way, even though weight loss really is the thing it does for non-diabetics so beautifully, at least for those of us that tolerate it. It actually is a diabetic drug, and it had been prescribed to me as a diabetic drug. So when I talked to Medicare about this, the gal on the phone said, well, yeah, we know that, but the rules have been tightened up, and so I don't know what to tell you, is basically what she said. I said, okay. So I waited about a week, and I had told you guys all this like contemporaneously when it was happening. That was my last video. Then I waited about a week, and I got a message from the pharmacy, a second message, because they'd send me the first one saying, hey, you know what, your drug's ready at $707. I get another message, and it says, hey, your drug's ready, and it's $47. So I got him on the phone. Hey, run over this with me. You're talking about the Ozempic, right? Yes. And it's $47 copay, right? Yes. Well, why was I billed $707 a week and a half ago when it first became available to me to pick up? She said, I have no idea. I don't know why that happened. I said, well, do you show it in your computer? Well, no, actually, I don't. All I show is that this drug is ready for you to come and pick up and what your copay is. So, who knows? I have no idea what happened. It was a miracle. So I went and picked it up, paid my $47, and I'm back on it at my original dose, and it kicked in beautifully. First thing I noticed within 24 hours was that my anxiety had evaporated. The anxiety that was building back up had evaporated. Maybe it was because I got my Ozempic for a reasonable price and I could breathe a sigh of relief, or maybe it was because the drug is actually working again at that dosage. I don't know. All I know is that was my first reaction. Then within another day, I noticed that all the other good benefits had come back. My hunger had diminished, and my attitude had soared, and my stamina was back to what it was before. Before I hit this plateau is what I'm trying to say, 3 months ago. So it's full steam ahead. I'm doing great again. I have been on it now for 2 weeks. I just took my week number 3 dosage today. My weight is back down to what it was before Christmas. I had gained 5-7 pounds, something like that. And so now I'm back down to what I was before, which I've held steady at 234 weeks and weeks and weeks. So I'm back there. I'll weigh again at the end of this week and see if the scale has nudged down or if I've maintained. Hard to say what's going to happen. I don't know. However, I'm forging ahead and taking this time, however long I have before I start to notice that I've hit another plateau of some kind. I'm taking this time to be really dedicated to trying to get this weight off. Like I said before, if I do not lose another pound, I'm feeling pretty darn good at 230 pounds. A lot of stamina, strength. I can get out and walk. My back pain has evaporated. I still have, I think it's a little neuropathy maybe in my feet and legs, which my husband takes care of for me with nightly foot and leg massages. The man is an angel. Just an angel. So that's that. I'm still having some weird shoulder pain. It may be related to being a diabetic. I've read a lot about shoulder pain recently, and there is a type of shoulder connective tissue encapsulation that is directly a result of having high blood sugar. However, since I've been on metformin and Ozempic, my blood sugars are down to almost a normal range. I'm slightly above 5 as long as I'm taking these medications as directed. So all is well that way. So that's the story of the Ozempic. Weather. We are 300 and some odd miles from the Los Angeles fires that just happened. So that did not impact us here directly. We haven't had any major fires in our area since all last summer, which is our traditional fire season, but they never declared that it was the off season for fire. And as far as we're concerned in California, fire season is year round now. It's affecting how often and at what elevation we're able to do our hazard reduction burning. And that's where people like me who live on a chunk of land in what's considered a wildlands area, an unincorporated part of the county, we are generally given a few days between November 1st and May 1st where we can burn all the stuff we cut out of our oak trees, all the pines that have fallen down, everything that we weed eated and didn't, feed to an animal, all of the noxious weeds that you have to dig out and drag to a burn pile. And that's the Jimson weed, the datura, that was its name, but you call it Jimson weed, which is extremely poisonous. And you wear your gloves when you mess with that stuff. And the thistle, which the animals won't eat. And there are a few other broadleaf weeds and things that the animals won't eat. So normally you hit those at the bottom with a shovel and you drag it over to your burn pile. It dries up and then you burn it in November. However, our burn days have been cut quite a bit, and the elevation now, it looks like all of this burn season, you can only burn if you are at an elevation of 1,000 feet or higher. They didn't used to tell you an elevation issue unless they were really pulling back on burning. They might sometimes say, oh, well, at an elevation of 3,000 and above, you can burn, but nobody else can. So now the cutoff seems to be 1,000. Luckily, we are right at 1,000 feet. Where I live is right at 1,000 feet, so I am able to burn on those 1,000-foot and above days. We did our first burn a couple of days ago. Grant took care of all of the brush that we had cut out of the oak trees and the noxious weeds and all that. So we got to do our burn. Yay. Our weather has been frighteningly beautiful. Frighteningly beautiful. Warm, sunny. It feels like April, maybe. Very little water. We've had basically 2 storm sessions come through. One a few months ago, one this past weekend. However, California weather is supposed to be changing. Starting with this upcoming weekend, we are supposed to be getting a series of storms. They are supposed to drop a decent amount of precipitation, both as rain at our elevation and snow a couple, 2,000-3,000 feet higher up the hill. So we are getting welcome respite from this freaky, beautiful weather. That makes my heart sing. So that's the update. Now, I want to show you my latest obsession. I've been doing nothing but sitting here at my desk, playing with this new obsession. So let me show you what it is. Oh my goodness, as Cooking with Pam would say. If you haven't checked out her channel, please do. I adore her. I have gone, well, this is my desk. You got to see my desk. I've got tissue and I've got cotton batting that I yanked out of an antique couch. I've got some paints there, and I've got some tools, and this is what I've been making. Look at this little guy. Is he adorable or what? He's made from a pipe cleaner armature, and then you take cotton like this, or cotton balls, or whatever you've got that's like a cotton wool, and you start to wrap the armature, and then you paint on a starch. You can use laundry starch, which I didn't happen to have, or you can make your starch up from whatever you happen to have lying around. I had a cornstarch lying around, so I made it up with that. You can paint it with watered down glue, but the starch is better because it doesn't stick to your fingers, and it gives you can kind of mold things with your hands a little bit more easily. I just think this guy is so freaking adorable. Now, let me turn him like that. I did use this stuff, this old, lumpy couch stuffing. If I'd wanted him to be have a smoother finish, I would have used cotton balls or some other type of cotton. But I just quickly went and grabbed some of this off the front porch, and I started making him, and he was turning out lumpy, which bothered me. But now that he's dry and he's been painted, I think the lumpiness really works. It gives him a certain organic adorableness that I love. Now, here is another thing I made using the same process. A little hen. I think she's adorable. Now you'll notice that they're in earth tones. They're not real bright. In part, that's because I used coffee as their first layer of color. He got painted all in coffee, and I just painted her from the brown part down. Then I painted her with some white paint, this stuff here. I just happen to have some of this interior latex lying around, so I painted her with that. And then I did detail on her. Let's see here. If I can get this to, maybe not. I did detail using a tiny little piece of, here, I'll show it to you. A little tiny piece of wire like that, and I dipped it down in the paint, and I dabbed red paint around her comb and some paint around her eyes. I dabbed the tinier little speckles with this. I also did the same with my little mouse buddy. I used, for the bigger polka dots, I don't have another piece of it, but I used a little bit of cardboard that I had cut into a sliver, and I used that to daub on those the dark spots, and then I used this thing to dab on the white spots. Okay, so that is how they are painted. Now, I had made this little pine needle basket a long time, well, not a long time ago, a few weeks ago. I used black thread to paint it, and it was the green and black and looked weird. So I painted the whole thing in a couple different layers of black and brown paint, and then I painted sort of a dull gold over it to give it a little shimmer. Now, this, you'll notice he has his arms out. Now the arms actually aren't in the right spot, but it's going to work because I wanted him to hold this little basket, which I don't think I can make him do without gluing it down. So he's going to hold this little basket, and in that little basket is going to be a strawberry, like so. I'm not quite done with the strawberry. I'm not done with its leaves yet. I need to do a top layer of its leaves, and what I'm going to do is I found this little piece of antique what do you call that? Wallpaper that I had used in my kitchen drawer to line it, and this piece had come apart, and I thought I'm going to tear the pieces to go on top of these fiber pieces. I didn't like the fact that there was a checkerboard pattern on that fiber. That bothered me. So this will give a more organic feel. So that's that, and then this little guy is going to sit in here somehow. Also with a little bit of moss in there. Now, I had originally thought that I would use our genuine acorn, like so. And that would be in his basket. It's kind of cute, but number one, it's not colorful, and number two, it's a little too smooth. I wanted to keep, in building this little world, I wanted everything, all the organic stuff to be the same texture. So the cotton texture I thought was perfect. I think, and let me bring it over here, like so you kind of see it. I thought that was a better choice to go in the basket. Now, I found the tutorial for how to do this and the chicken and the strawberries and a bunch of other darling things on a website called, on a YouTube channel called Rosanna Makes, and I'm going to try to remember to link it in the description. I'm very bad at remembering that, but it's Rosanna Makes. So I followed her instructions and I ended up with these little things. She does some of the cutest little stuff. Now, the reason I started doing it in the first place is my friend Rachel and I are going to be doing I'm going to turn this around, I think. So Rachel and I are going to be doing a dollhouse project over the course of this year. We're each going to create, she already has it created, and I'm going to recreate it in cardboard, basically the same dollhouse, and then we'll go ahead and do the insides of the dollhouse with however we want to decorate it and with whatever little figures we want in it. I don't like people dolls very much. I prefer for animals to be the dolls in my dollhouse. So this little mouse, possibly this little guy, but other little mice that I make like that will be the main family members, and then there will probably be other family members of other animal species. I'm not quite sure. So they will be wearing a little bit of clothing like this. My little mouse, this little guy here, I'm going to be crocheting a little beret for him to wear, and he'll have like a muffler around his neck. That's what I'm going to dress him in. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with the dollhouse. I don't have any young female family members I can give this to. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to make it anyway. So that's what I have been up to. Please check out, if you like making little figures and you want to learn a new skill, at least it was new to me, please check out Rosanna Makes and look at her offerings, because boy, her stuff is just adorable. So that is about all I have to share today. I wish I had smell-o-vision, because I have my glue gun heating up over here on the corner of my table, and I am going to get to work finishing this little mouse up. Anyway, I want to show you some of the other stuff I've been using in this project first. So there's my glue gun, smelling wonderful, sitting on its goopy glue gun plate. You know I've been obsessed because I've got 2 days worth of beverages that have gotten cold. Yesterday's tea is in my Humboldt Humboldt State University cup, and this morning's coffee is in my pine cone cup. So another thing that Rosanna Makes tells you to do is to hold on to any little pieces of foil. Then these can be scrunched up and used in your armatures. So I've saved like the tops of yogurt, the brown cow yogurt top, and even gum wrappers if you're making something real tiny. Like, for example, I want to make some more of these strawberries, but make them real small. And I'll, as an armature for those, I will probably just use a gum wrapper and put a little batting around that, because I want to make some that are, you know, half the size of this. So I use these little beads, these little black rocaille beads for eyes. You can see his little eyes. Maybe you can. I can't even. I don't have my glasses on. Oh yeah, you can see his little eyes. Those are just little black beads like that. I do have my tools out. That really helps. I use smallish paintbrushes to do some of the detailing. I don't care what kind of paint I use. I've got craft paint, I've got house paint, I've got this kind of luminescent acrylic in all these colors. I'm using this apple to put my strawberries in. I'll make a strawberry on the end of a piece of wire, and then I'll stick the wire in my apple so it will dry. This came out of my last pair of Doc Martens. I saved the tissue, and then also I've been cutting up my armatures using part of my last pair of Doc Martens carton, shoebox. I really like, here's an armature for the chicken. I really like this cardboard because it's thin, but it has a lot of structural strength. So this works real well. It cuts easily. I'm gonna probably end up using all of that in my little things. So I've got a couple chickens cut out here. I'm also going to make hearts for Valentine's Day. So I'll show you those when I finally have some to share. So there you go. There's my update and a little bit of info on what I have been doing to pass the time. I have numerous projects started in my house. I'm still working on my pantry room. I still haven't started putting the wallpaper and paint up in my Airstream. I still haven't finished cleaning my living room. I've got a pretty good bead on my kitchen though. We did finally get a used washer, very nice used washer that has made my life a lot easier because I don't need to go to the laundromat every 2 weeks anymore. So that's been nice to have a washer. So yeah, life is just smoking right along. I'm feeling really good. And I hope you guys are too. And I will talk to you later.